I've got this super easy amp mod that basically anyone can do using a pretty uncommon tube. I'm guessing it's one that most of you out there haven't heard of before, but it could be the coolest tube you ever put inside your amplifier because of its unique design. I feel like this tube has really slipped under the radar. There's not a lot of info around about it, especially here on YouTube, and from what I can see, it's a very misunderstood tube with it often being used incorrectly. The 12DW7 is very unique. It houses two completely different tubes inside one glass envelope. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so we all know the 12AX7, right? Let's just draw one real quick. Classy. The 12AX7 is known as a dual triode design. So inside here, it's like, in a simple way, it's like we've got two 12AX7 stages inside one tube. So when you look inside your amp, one of these preamp tubes equals two stages. And it's the same for 12AT7, 12AU7, 5751s. If it's a 12AX7, it'll have a 12AX7 stage and another 12AX7 stage. Now with the 12DW7, they've done something a little different. One side is a 12AX7 stage, and one side is a 12AU7 stage. Now the 12AU7 has way less gain than the 12AX7, about 1/5. It stays clean for longer, it's got a bit more headroom, and it gives a smoother, more controlled overall tone, sort of generalizing there. Section 1, which is pins 6, 7, and 8, is a 12AX7. Section 2, which is pins 1, 2, and 3, is a 12AU7. Now a problem may arise when you need those sections swapped around, but JJ has come to the rescue and made us a reverse 12DW7, which is great. So now we have both options. So it's kind of like the Jekyll and Hyde of tubes. One side is smooth, articulate, and sort of polite, and the other side is like a total raging animal. Right, so how do we even use this tube? Well, I've got a really good example teed up with a Fender HotRod DLX that I'm going to show you in just a sec. But some really good uses for this tube would be to affect one amp channel but not the other. So just like in the Fender Deluxe, you've got one tube that spans across two different channels. And if you want one channel to remain the same, like the clean channel, but you want to affect the other channel, like the dirty channel, this tube is basically the answer to that. You can restructure your amp's gain staging. So by putting this tube in, you can reshape how your amp responds and where the low and high gain sections are within that amplifier itself. So it actually can change the way the amp feels, how the amp responds, and how the amp obviously sounds. It can be also used to enhance your amp's tone controls. So depending on your amp's design, it can smooth out how your EQ responds and make your tone controls more dynamic and responsive. Right, so how can you find out where to put this tube? Well, first you're gonna need a schematic of your amp. So this is a Marshall amp schematic. And look through the stages and check this out. The first stage, V1 here, we've got low feeding this triode and high feeding this triode. So if we changed V1 to one of these 12DW7s, it would give us a different amount of gain on each side and a different sort of amount of headroom and feel, all those sort of things. The other thing that is interesting is down here, this stage here, we're going into V2, and the other half of V2, see how it comes off the bottom of the tube here, is a cathode follower into your tone stack. If you put a 12DW7 here in V2 with a 12AU7 triode on this side, feeding that tone stack, it's gonna affect how that tone stack responds. Let's go to a Vox schematic. This one's nice because it's a bit easier to read. And same sort of thing, you've got the brilliant channel coming into this triode here, and you've got the normal channel coming up around to this triode. And look down here, same sort of arrangement. You've got one half of a triode here, a 12AX7 half. If you change this half to a 12AU7 feed in that tone stack, you're gonna get a little bit more range out of that tone stack. The one we're doing today is a Fender HotRod DLX 4. Now this is an amp where this tube does get recommended sometimes for the V2 position, but they recommend the wrong tube. They recommend a standard 12DW7. Well, really we need a reversed 12DW7. So you can see here, here's your signal coming into here, into V2. Now this is your clean signal also hits this tube, and then your clean signal carries on this way. If you've got the dirty channel engaged, you go through this tube and then down through here into this other half over here. Now, if you put a standard 12DW7 in, this half becomes the 12AU7 and this half stays as a 12AX7. But if I want this clean channel to remain exactly the same, I need to put a reverse 12DW7 in. So this stays as a 12AX7 and this half here becomes a 12AU7. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to put one of those reversed 12DW7s in and see what it sounds like. Hopefully it should smooth out that distortion channel. Okay, so here's my setup. I've got my amp plugged in and it's going in through this DIY aux that we built in that recent project. If you want to check that out, I'll link that in at the end of this video, but it's a really cool project. I'll put some links below. It's going up into my interface here and my computer. Sorry about all this down here. I've got a gig coming up, so I'm rehearsing at the moment for that. Now, by the way, if you want to support the channel, you can grab a copy of that schematic. I'll put the link down in the description, or you can also become a member on my site. We've just passed 1,000 members, so thanks so much everyone for your support. It is awesome to be able to actually do this part-time at least anyway and get these videos out to you guys. I really enjoy it. We're going to go through these really quick. I'm not going to get too crazily involved with this, but just to show you what sort of effect this can have on your amp. So here's the clean sound of this Deluxe. So you can still hear it sounds the same. It's the usual Deluxe clean sound. Right, let's do those dirty channels. Let's start with the yellow distortion channel, and you'll definitely notice difference. Here it is stock. This is with the gain set to 5. Everything's basically at noon. Okay, here's that red channel, same settings, it's just got more gain, it's the more drive channel. So quite a massive difference there, really just a gain reduction in that last stage. I know there are some people that do really enjoy the sound of the Deluxe stock, so there's nothing wrong with keeping it that way. This tube could be something that really transforms your amplifier and tweaks it in ways that you didn't think were possible before. So it just gives you more options. That's really what this video is about, making it so you can get more options out of what you already have. There's nothing wrong with tweaking and playing around with your gear. It is massively fun. I love it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one. We'll catch you next week.